Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm really proud to be joined by the Division of Criminal Justice Director, Teresa Hilton, and the Colonel of the New Jersey State Police, Pat Callahan, to announce the arrest of 14 defendants, including a member and associates of the Lucchese organized crime family, who are charged in connection with a multi-million-dollar illegal sports betting ring that operated multiple electronic sports books across New Jersey. First, let me also just note at the outset that since June of 2018, licensed casino operators and racetracks regulated by the Division of Gaming Enforcement within our department, as well as the New Jersey Racing Commission, have been able to accept legal sports wagering. It is legal in New Jersey. Together, these two agencies have worked with those licensed operators to ensure the integrity of the sports betting industry in our state. They use state-of-the-art technology to monitor bets, identify suspicious activity, ensure compliance with the laws, and, I'd note, protect those who have challenges with responsible gaming. But organized crime families seem to have a hard time breaking this old habit, so we're going to break it for them. Today, despite the wide availability of legal sports betting, illegal gambling remains among members and associates of organized crime. Today, we allege that this illegal gambling operation, led by Fairfield resident Joseph M. Little Joe Perna, who's a member of the Lucchese crime family, used offshore gambling websites to systematically entice people to place bets as part of a sophisticated gambling operation, all in an effort to line Perna's pockets and those of his associates. This operation also included a number of college athletes who operated sports books at the direction of the Perna enterprise. And I'll note that this operation relied on Gen Z gamblers and a network of sub-agents recruited from among Perna's sons' high school and college friends. They effectively recruited younger gamblers or players that they knew would be able to pay up, or those that they could leverage payment from, namely college students and student athletes. This was a lucrative operation, transferring some $2 million in suspecting gambling transactions between 2022 and 2024 alone. And it was a multi-generational family operation. This was truly a family affair. Perna is charged, along with his sons, his stepson, nephews, and others, with racketeering, conspiracy, gambling offenses, and money laundering. Even Perna's wife and ex-wife are charged independently as part of this racketeering scheme. These arrests follow an extraordinary and lengthy investigation in which the Division of Criminal Justice and the New Jersey State Police discovered an enterprise that included a nationwide web of bookies, allegedly operating under Perna's direction. Perna, who's been identified as a soldier in the Lucchese crime family, acted as a financier or a bank who supported the operation, stepping in when there were issues collecting debts or when winnings were owed to players. Perna's son, Joseph R. Perna, conducted the daily operations of the sportsbook, overseeing dozens of subordinate agents, all of whom have been charged. You can see folks up here. Director Hilton's going to give more details regarding the charges in a moment, but I want anyone listening to this to understand me. In New Jersey, if you break the law, we'll pursue you. We will prosecute you, and we will hold you accountable to the fullest extent of the law. I don't care who you are or how powerful you think you may be. The so-called good old days, back rooms, are over. Yes, it's 2025 and organized crime may look differently. There may be new technologies. They may operate in different ways, but our commitment to enforcing our laws is unwavering. It's in fact in the DNA of this department, and we're going to use every tool we have to catch you. There is nowhere to hide from the law. I want to thank the incredible team, the Division of Criminal Justice, who worked on this case, and to the extraordinary investigators from the New Jersey State Police Port Investigations Unit, who pursued this case with dogged determination and built a really large case against a sophisticated crime enterprise. I also want to thank our law enforcement partners throughout the state who do incredible work every day on behalf of the 9.5 million residents who are proud to call New Jersey home. And I also want to note, as I did at the outset, I want to thank our Division of Gaming Enforcement, who has set the industry standard for sports betting with integrity and responsible gaming. We are committed here to supporting policies and practices that support safe and enjoyable gambling experiences while minimizing the risk of harm to those involved. Responsible gaming, like the standards that we have put in place through licensed operators, helps protect people. I want to give any college student listening, yes, you can, if you're of age, you can gamble on your phones if you're in the state of New Jersey. You should not be gambling in a mob-backed operation. That's free parental advice. Last year, we launched a public awareness campaign centered on preventing problematic gambling and providing resources and support for anyone who is struggling. And we're using data to identify those who have challenges. The campaign uses primarily online advertisements. We often advertise during major sporting events, and we do so to remind New Jersey bettors to bet responsibly. We have the most robust self-exclusion program available in the country for anyone who is struggling with addiction with respect to gambling. They can find out more by calling our hotline, 1-800-GAMBLER. We also offer our residents free access to GameFin, a financial counseling service for those who are experiencing financial harm because of gambling. And we're going to do everything we can, because we know this is a significant problem, particularly for our younger residents. We want to make sure that they know how to gamble responsibly to the extent they partake and how to make responsible choices. It is my honor to turn the podium over to the Director of the Division of Criminal Justice, Teresa Hilton. But before I do, I want to thank the teams who worked on this. From our office, Lindsay Rotolo, our first assistant, again, Teresa Hilton, the Director, Division of Criminal Justice, Senior Counsel in my office, Claudia Dimitro, Deputy Attorney General Robert Anstatt, Deputy Attorney General Kevin Long, and Deputy Attorney General Brian Carney. From the New Jersey State Police, under the leadership of Colonel Callahan, Major Craig Costello, head of the New Jersey State Police Port Security Section, Detective Sergeant Gavilanis, excuse me if I got that wrong, who headed up this operation. We had a number of other, and Captain Frank Robina. I want to thank also, we had partners from across the country, the Tampa, Florida Police Department, the Rhode Island State Police, FBI, Newark, Gainesville, Florida Police Department, among others. This was an incredible operation and a really important case, and I'm very proud to turn the podium over to the Director of the Division of Criminal Justice, Teresa Hilton.
Thank you, General. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. Today, the Division of Criminal Justice, in partnership with the New Jersey State Police, is announcing the arrest of multiple individuals who we allege were operating a large-scale illegal sports betting enterprise out of Essex and Bergen counties. This investigation, led by the State Police Port Investigations Unit within the Port Security Section, began in January of 2024. What started as a local inquiry into suspicious gambling activity at the ports quickly uncovered a far-reaching nationwide network of illegal bookmakers tied to organized crime. At the center of this criminal enterprise, we allege, was Joseph M. Little Joe Perna, a soldier in the Lucchese crime family who acted as the financier and overseer of the operation. Under his direction, his son, Joseph R. Perna, managed the day-to-day sportsbook activities, coordinating dozens of subordinate agents, more commonly known as bookies, who collected bets and laundered proceeds through an intricate web of communication channels and payment systems. Among those allegedly involved were Anthony Perna, Frank Zito, Dominic Perna, and Michael Chetta, all family members or close associates who helped sustain the enterprise's operations. We also allege that several high-level agents, Tyler Schnorbush, Nicholas Ramo, Joseph Janish, William Medeiros, Spencer Spezial, and Devin Schuster, each managed their own sportsbook under the Perna organization, soliciting bets, managing accounts, and funneling profits back to the leadership. As the Attorney General mentioned, between 2022 and 2024, investigators identified roughly $2 million in suspected gambling transactions linked to this organization. The evidence shows a coordinated effort to entice bettors, collect proceeds, and conceal illicit profits in order to enrich members of the enterprise. Perhaps most troubling, we discovered that some participants included student athletes who allegedly operated or assisted in managing sports books for the Perna enterprise. This behavior not only violates the law, but it undermines the integrity of sports and the public's trust in fair competition. These arrests mark a significant step forward in our ongoing effort to disrupt organized crime in New Jersey. Illegal gambling is not a victimless crime. It funds organized crime, exploits vulnerable individuals, and undermines the integrity of our communities and legitimate businesses. The individuals arrested in this case are facing serious charges, including first-degree racketeering, second-degree conspiracy, third-degree promoting gambling, and first-degree money laundering. If convicted, crimes of the first degree are subject to 10 to 20 years in state prison, and in the case of first-degree racketeering, subject to the No Early Release Act, and in the case of first-degree money laundering, up to a $500,000 fine. Second-degree charges can result in 5 to 10 years in state prison and a fine up to $150,000. I want to thank the men and women of the New Jersey State Police for their outstanding investigative work. I also want to recognize the Deputy Attorneys General in our Division of Criminal Justice, General Crimes Bureau, whose tireless efforts made these arrests possible. Our message is simple. If you operate illegal gambling enterprises in New Jersey, whether from a back room or a smartphone, we will find you, we will investigate you, and we will hold you accountable. The Division of Criminal Justice remains committed to dismantling organized crime networks and protecting the people of New Jersey from the influence and reach of these criminal enterprises. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. It's now my honor to introduce the Colonel of the State Police, Pat Callahan.
Thanks, General. Thank you. I'll be brief and just echo both the AG's remarks, the directors, and certainly thank just a small representation of that interagency collaboration assembled here behind us. What I would like to point out is, if you all recall, within the past 2 years when the Waterfront Commission of New York and New Jersey was dissolved, and the New Jersey State Police was tasked with this undertaking of trying to certainly make sure that organized crime is not involved in our ports. This investigation was born and discovered out of that newly created port security section under Major Costello's leadership. And in quite short order, the types of investigations and backgrounds and work that they've done, which was being hoped for decades at the port, now exist. And this is certainly evidence of that. And the labor-intensive job that went in, from the amount of search warrants, communication data warrants, I think we'll be able to at some point provide at least the list of what that looked like to you all. Certainly a year and a half investigation, nearly 2-year investigation that resulted in the culmination of what you've seen here today. So that interagency collaboration in combating organized crime, which still exists, again, as evidenced by this phenomenal investigation, and I'm honored to certainly offer those remarks on behalf of the state police and all of our partners who did a phenomenal job in this case. Thanks, General.
Thanks, Colonel. Thank you, Colonel. I'll open up for some questions. Let me just say at the outset, this case is ongoing. We continue to investigate. If anybody has any leads, please let us know, but also apologize in advance that there are some details that we won't be able to share. So before I have to repeat that line, I just want to give you fair notice. Any questions?
Is your office looking into allegations of point shaving or fixing a game similar to allegations that we've seen in other sports that are making high-profile headlines right now?
Yeah, look, we are looking at all possible allegations, and if anybody has information on that front, we encourage them to come forward.
And can you explain how it would work? I guess I'm just a little confused. So they would entice people to make these. I'm just trying to visualize how this operation looked.
Yeah, do you want to?
I mean, I think essentially that's correct. I mean, I don't want to spell out a specific example because, as the General mentioned, this is ongoing. And if there's evidence of additional crimes, it'll be charged and we'll provide an update. But yes, I mean, you have somebody who knows somebody and convinces them to join a betting group, and they start gambling illegally, and it goes from there.
Yes.
Once we legalized gambling, were any of you kind of surprised that this still continued, or were you hoping this type of thing would end?
Yeah, look, we legalized, as we said, sports betting. New Jersey obviously led the legal fight to legalize sports betting. The decision came out in May or spring of 2018. Shortly thereafter, we legalized sports betting. Sports betting, New Jersey is now the #1 sports betting jurisdiction in the world, which I'm very proud of the regulatory structure we have in place. We take integrity really seriously. Again, we regulate this in our department, and we have set the gold standard for responsible gaming efforts. We look at data on these platforms, partnering with the operators, who, by the way, also have been great partners in combating this. I would just encourage anyone, if you're going to gamble, now I don't, but if you're going to, use legal and responsible platforms where you are safe. You should not be turning to a friend or an uncle or somebody who you don't know where that money's coming from. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, especially if you're in college. My God. So we really would, yes, the answer is yes, I would hope that this would stop. Clearly, there are still people, and we see this in legal and in illegal industries, where people want to prey on those who might be vulnerable. And first-degree racketeering charges are no joke, guys. You heard the penalties. So I hope that anybody who's operating or think about operating this would wake up and say, you know what? Go on whatever legal operator there is. That's safe. That's legal. We're not going to try this, at least not in New Jersey.
There's just a few details I just want to make sure I fully understand. So all of the agents and sub-agents, they're college students? And if so, can you say what colleges they go to and make sure we understand that?
We cannot identify the colleges at this time. They were current and or former college students and former high school friends of some of the individuals leading the operation. Is that helpful?
Sure. And then what roles did the wife and ex-wife play in this whole thing?
I'm trying to remember the specifics that are included in our affidavit, because I'm bound to tell you only what's included in the affidavit, right?
We can follow up.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned that this whole thing started at the ports, if I'm getting that correct. Can you elaborate on that and what concerns you may still have about crime family involved activity at the port?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we shared all we can share about how this case originated. But I'll say this: and some of us remember this, when the state of New Jersey announced its intention to leave the Waterfront Commission, we won that case 9-0 at the Supreme Court. By the way, if anybody from New York is listening, we made very clear we're going to take corruption at the port seriously, and this case is an example of that. Beyond the ports, and this is not the first organized crime case that we have charged even this year with multiple defendants. Organized crime, unfortunately, has not gone away. It has changed its form. They have changed their tactics. They have changed how they operate. But you see a multi-million-dollar sports betting ring run by alleged members of the mob. That's not going away. That's just changing. And we're not going to stop holding them accountable. Even if they change their practices, they're not going to somehow avoid accountability. So my advice for them would be knock it off. Earn your money a legitimate way. Don't run a multi-member racketeering ring. These penalties are serious. First-degree racketeering charges, which, again, is what this office was set up to do. It's why the state of New Jersey has the strongest criminal state-level prosecution powers of any agency in the country. It is specifically to combat the mob and organized crime, and I'm very proud that the folks behind me and throughout our state are fulfilling that mission.
So are the allegations that they were placing bets on college sports? And is there a specific sport or a player, or what were they betting on?
Yeah, again, unfortunately we're limited to what we can make public now, so I can't share those details. But again, these allegations remain under investigation, and to the extent we can produce additional charges or additional information, we will do so.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Lucchese crime family specifically, which was also involved in the NBA gambling ring in New York, according to the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District. Is there any connection whatsoever, even to the point of one inspiring another? Any connection?
I can't comment on that. By the way, as a Knicks fan, I hope Jalen's ankle's okay, if anybody's worried about that. But yeah, it's me too. Also, just to say aside, and this is no comment on the case, how did Chauncey Billups get in the Hall of Fame? He was the third best member of that Pistons team. Anyway, so look, I don't have any information about a connection that I can share, but we are obviously investigating any and all leads.
And do we know when they are making a court appearance on these charges?
Do we know?
First appearances are today. Any detention hearing will be scheduled approximately 3 business days later.
I want to thank you all for coming, and I especially want to thank the extraordinary work that was conducted by those in the Division of Criminal Justice, state police, and our law enforcement partners throughout the state and across this country who, as we have in all of these cases, we rely on that collaboration. We're very proud of it here in New Jersey, and it produces these types of results. So thank you all.
Thank you.